up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. Just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh.
And then I go through those holdbacks, and it's usually
Okay. The small one.
Nah, y'all.
To put the animals first. Like when you see that, you Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. Welcome, everyone that's already in the chat. Kara Shea, good morning. Let me go all the way and see who was first. I bet it was Stan. Bosa be Stan this morning. Good morning. Oh, man, Bosa, I wish I could have put y'all shirts down here so I can let y'all see them before I ship them off. The channel members are getting their shirts. They have the first clutch edition shirts in appreciation of them being members. I didn't even order one for us. So those shirts are only for channel members. So if you see somebody on, you know that they rock as a member of the channel, a supportive member of the channel. Good morning, KT. On time, KT. Good morning, Stan. Good morning, Joey D. Good morning. Let's see what else I got. Kevin, good morning, Kevin. Kevin and I hung out together this weekend at Gettysburg, which was a very fun show for me. All the shows are, but definitely I like the setup of that show. I love our setup, and I enjoyed all the activities and just how they treated the vendors there as well. So did enjoy that. Good seeing you, Kevin. We had fun. We were hot at the end of the day, right? Good morning, Don D, who was exhausted, but he made it through to support his peeps. Good morning, Big Tank Hank. How are you? How are you feeling? How is everything going? Good to see you in the chat. Definitely good to see you in the chat. So, like I said, this weekend was amazing. One of the craziest things is not crazy, but it was very ironic. So when we came back to put all of the animals back in their enclosures, it seems like one of the two that was gone, one of them had already turned her bowl over like she wasn't coming back. And we were laughing because this is one that when we went to the first show, she was the showstopper. So that's how she ended up becoming the retake that's on my new marketing materials, and not, of course, a lot of you thought it would be a golden child. It was because she was the eye catcher. So we just kind of paid attention to that. Like when we laid them out for the first time, which one of these, not looking at them through our eyes, which ones do the people see instantly? And it was her. And now she's gone to her new home, which I'm excited. Her new home is going to be a lovely one. I love when people purchase them who already have large constrictors or like intense experience with them. But yeah, and then it was going to be Don D's girl once he came around, but Don D didn't come around fast enough. No, he actually held that snake for quite some time on Saturday. Good morning, Elias. Shout out to Elias who held the chat down. Yo, so let me tell you what I love Monday mornings. I love being live because Monday mornings feeling is different, right? But Saturday, doing reptiles and cocktails pre-recorded now. Like I said, I did it for two reasons. There are a lot of people I wanted to interview. One, I will be interviewing tonight in preparation for two this week. For the next two shows I will be interviewing, and both of them are going to be very good interviews. I'll tell y'all the first one is going to be if the first or the second is going to be a big retake person, but someone that definitely once the atmosphere calmed down, I wanted to bring on so we can discuss the contributions that he's made into the reticulated python hobby and all the years that he has inserted energy into the breeding projects, and get more into like the things that we don't get to see a lot on YouTube for reticulated pythons that that knowledge holds in his head. So we definitely will be having Jake from JK Reptiles on J&K Reptiles on soon. And the next one you guys are going to, it's a shocker, but it's one that I definitely been wanted to do. I think the climate and the time is right, and the mood of this interview, I think is going to be the shocker, because I think for the individual that it is, and for myself, one thing would be expected, another thing would be delivered, and I'm super excited. I will be doing that recording this week as well. So yeah, some fun stuff going on. Good morning, Dre.
Good morning. Good morning.
You super early to Dre.
Whatever.
How was your week? I think we barely spoke.
It was a week.
You had a good week.
It was
okay. Good morning, Tim. Good morning. Yes, good morning to all the crazy people. Good morning. Good morning. Are you going to Retic Fest Saturday? Oh, okay. I might if it's not too late. My our anniversary is Saturday, so this is the thing, if the eggs in the incubator, because it's 2 clutches that's due on the 23rd, if they hatch before the 22nd, then I'm going to go. But if not, of course, I'll just be here for my anniversary. Yep, smash it when you come through. My girl knew she was leaving. I love her personality. She did, like, she knew that she was leaving. But you know, all of their personalities was like that, right? But yeah. Well, we always said that she probably wouldn't make the next show. So, but it was funny. Like she said, I turned my bowl over. I ain't coming back here. Then he kicked my butt on Saturday. Yeah, it came in like in the afternoon. I was like, woo. I thought it was just me. I kept telling Kevin and them, is it me? Am I having my moments?
Mhm.
Kevin said that that's the case. I'm having man flashes too. Put everyone on notice. I'll be wanting a Lucy in the bell soon. All right. I don't know if I would ever have any, but somebody does. For sure. For sure. Oh, so Tim said he'll be there. Yeah, so Tim, that's the deal. I want to go. It's not far, it's not too far of a drive for us. Just a few hours, about 4. And it's a drive I used to do by myself anyway, for work sometimes because I had properties to oversee out there. So
Where's
you
it
know,
at?
huh?
Where's it at?
It's at Reach Out Reptiles. Remember the one that
Yeah.
they say the one that we were supposed to do last year, I think. And I don't know what happened. Neither one of us made it.
Yeah. That's only like 3 hours for me, but
He did stand. Yeah, not too far. It definitely wasn't you because I was feeling that heat by the time I was ready to leave. Yeah, so Tim, you know it's hard when you got those eggs hatching. It's not like Mike was good with everything except he doesn't have the experience, with the birth as much as far as the actual hatching of the clutches. So that would make me a little uneasy, but depending on what time, when they hatch. The eggs actually look like they're, due any day now. So hopefully they'll go sooner and then we can make that trip up there and just stay up there. Yeah. So this morning's scripture for Bryant is going to be Corinthians 12:9, and it's a short, simple, but graceful scripture. My grace is all you need, for my power is the greatest when you are weak. And I just think that sometimes, when we say lean on the Lord, we don't really do that when we should. And it's the best time to do it, and the best time to express your faith is when you should be leaning on the Lord. Dre, if you yawn one more time. Big Tank, look at Emilio Villarino Reptiles for bells. Oh, Elias. Okay. Hell, I look like I'm due any day now, and I'm still going. I can't. All right, so we're going to get into today's topic, and I thought of this topic when I thought. First of all, Dre, did you see? Did you see it?
yeah, I see it. Why? Why? Oh my goodness.
So I learned this weekend, and y'all in trouble. I learned how to do it this weekend. All right, so the first thing, like I said, I thought about this topic because I know here in Maryland, there's a lot of people who will list themselves as people who can care for your reptiles, but really, really can't, right? And that's because of their certifications being one of them. So the first thing is steps to identify your vet is who he is exotic, is to start here. So here is your list of board certified veterinarians at www.avim.us. Verify your vet is board certified. And what a lot of people don't know is that it wasn't a requirement for vets to be board certified until like 6 years ago. So you want to make sure that if your vet wasn't grandfathered in with their license, that if they were due to renew it at this particular point, because it's been 6 years now, everybody should be board certified, and you should be looking for those certifications on their websites and in their offices. That's to start. The next thing that I would suggest that you do, if this is a vet that you were not, even if someone referred the vet to you, this is something that we're going to touch on on this topic, but it's important. Everybody doesn't have the same animals you do. So one of the things that you have to do is to vet your vet yourself. Like, you have to do that. So when you call them, ask the questions. When you tell them what type of animals that you have, one of the things I look out for, especially with the large snakes, if I tell them that an animal is experiencing some type of symptoms and they don't automatically say to me, bring them in, that's an issue for me. That tells me right there that it's not a vet for me, because even if it's a vet who is experienced, well, let's talk about it in human form. Even if it's a vet that has experience in reticulated pythons, if your doctor has experience with Elias, it doesn't qualify him to have experience with Nicole Dre. So that doctor need to triage those symptoms. Like, they need to actually have you come in, get all of your information, weight being a big part, because a lot of times, and even humans do this, and I guess because my mom was a nurse for so long, that's not something that I'm gonna do. A doctor shouldn't just call in a prescription for you if you didn't just see that doctor. Because if it was a year ago and you took that medicine a year ago and you gained 20 pounds, they could be very well subscribing medicine that's not strong enough, or on the flip side, medicine that is too weak. So with your animals, it's the same. I always joke, I have a young exotic vet here. He's actually not too far from us in Virginia. He's actually a young exotic black vet. We came to Fort Washington. We have one vet for the dogs because we love Indian Head Hospital for the dogs. Indian Head does everything for our dogs, from life to death. That's Indian Head, but Indian Head are not specialists in reticulated pythons specifically. Yes, they have some experience with snakes, some native snakes to Maryland, but not reticulated pythons. So when I go to my vet in Virginia, one thing that's the only time, y'all, I can tell you how much my larger animals weigh, because I don't have the equipment to properly weigh them here. Like, if someone tells you that my reticulated python is 80 pounds and it's never been weighed, they're estimating it based on what they know that they can lift. But I don't have a scale big enough here to weigh a reticulated python. I have scales that can weigh large ball pythons, but not a reticulated or a Burmese python. So it's important that they do the weighing of the animal, and you're not just saying to them, oh, I think that my animal is 80 pounds. Again, if they give your 80-pound animal 40-pound dosage, then your animal won't be cured of whatever it's going through, or vice versa. They're going to kill your animal because they're going to overdose your animal based on that. So that's something else. So after you've determined that you like what you heard, I think you should always request a visit. If you have never been to that office, request to visit the office prior to your actual appointment. And there you get your own feel of the cleanliness of the facility. One thing, mind you, when we have reptiles, one of the biggest, easiest things for our animals to obtain is mites. And so therefore, if someone is going to a vet office and to get treatment for any other ailment, and that snake also has mites, you don't want your animal going into the same room that animal has been in. So one of the things I like that our vet do is they have 2 different areas for the reptiles, and it's not clean and dirty, but I can't remember the words. It's two different words, but pretty much that this side is for really sick, infectious animals, and then the other side is for like animals that they triage, and then for whatever reason they assume are safe enough to go over in this side, and then they don't rotate the animals out the same room. They disinfect and all of that as much as they can in the same day. So if it's 5 rooms, they're rotating those 5 rooms. Now, of course, if they come to the 6th animal, they will end back up in room number 1. But you got all of that space and cleaning and everything in between. And I that gives me a peace of mind that someone is checking for things before they're bringing out animals in. And then, the other slide was just basically that if you like what you see, you like what you heard, that's when you definitely want to, go take your animal. But if the moment you see or hear something that makes you uncomfortable, run. Like, these animals rely on you to find the best care for them. I will also say, and one of the things that my vet is honest about, and I think we talked about it a little bit before, is that when it comes to many exotic animals that we keep, even a board certified veterinarian doesn't necessarily have a lot of experience with that animal, even though they board certified. So let's say you get board certified, you are able to attend to venomous. But how many times have you actually had to handle a venomous? That's another question that you want to ask your veterinarian. Like, how many times have you, treated a Burmese python for this? Or how many times have you seen a ball python for this issue? And let them give you, that information and what they've done in the past, and make sure that that plan of action works for you and your animals. Because there are certain things. Let me tell you one thing that I don't want ever done to my animal unless it is the last resort: anesthesia. Mm-hmm. Anesthesia will kill a snake quicker than anything. They don't have the ability to wake up and like we do when we come off of anesthesia. So that is a very slow process when they normally bring them out of it. But a lot of snakes, and a good vet will tell you that, will lose their lives. It's a huge risk putting a snake down under anesthesia. So that's why a lot of times if you have issues with your snakes and it's something that they can try a first course of action, they'll try that first course of action first. They don't want to put it down to pull a tooth, for example. They rather try antibiotics first. For something like let's say an abscess, they will try to do antibiotics first, because putting it down and actually doing a dental procedure on a snake is way risky for the life. So that's pretty much what I have. Dre, you got anything you want to add? Your thoughts?
No, just the point you made about, the not being experienced with certain animals. The exotic vet that I use is like 20 minutes away from me. They're pretty good. They're really good with like the snakes and everything. But one day I wanted to take the caiman in for just like a health checkup. And they were excited, however, and there's specific doctors that they'll even tell you, like, okay, well, our reptile doctor isn't in this day, so you have to wait till this day, which I do like because they're honest about it, and they won't just schedule you any day when there's no reptile doctor on staff. So that's great. So I take the caiman in, and the doctor, he's just like impressed, like, you have an actual caiman, and he's always heard about him, but he's never seen it. So anytime I take in my animals, and they always want to take a picture of it because they're like, we don't see these often. And I'm like, cool, I don't mind. But I told him, I was like, she's not nice. She's not nice.
And that's important, because the last one might have, been a little, it's rare as a caiman, but, maybe the last one that they handled wasn't this way. But that's a good point. Like, telling them the temperament of that animal, especially when you're dealing with like a caiman. It's a caiman.
Yeah. So, but the thing that I did like is, although he wasn't experienced with it, he was not scared. So I think that's very important. I've definitely, before I found this exotic vet, I come across some, veterinarians that are, well, what type of animal is it? Because they'll call themselves exotic vets, but exotic covers a wide range of animals, not just reptiles. Birds, hamsters, basically exotic. Anything that's not native to the United States is considered exotic. So, when they hear what type of animals you have, so there's a vet office around the corner from me, and they call themselves an exotic vet, but they're only proficient with basic animals, geckos and bearded dragons and things like that. They do not deal with snakes.
Yeah.
They're not dealing with large constrictors. So, of course, someone like me who likes these really exotic animals, they're not dealing with. So,
And
yeah,
that's
it's
another
definitely
good
important.
point. Because even if it says lizards, like they don't expect necessarily that you're going to bring an Asian water monitor in there. They think you're going to bring in a bearded dragon, maybe an Aki, So then you come in here with this, like, what's in there? A water monitor. But you made a good point too, Dre, and I noticed that too. Using, in fact, that's how I learned that my Indian Head Hospital, even though they treat birds, they treat some lizards and stuff like that. She is the one who pretty much said, I don't do, large constrictors. I don't have experience with them, and recommended the person across the bridge, which is now in another state. Elias makes a good point. Elias is not your state. There's a lot of states that probably only have one veterinarian within 3 hours. And you have to know that. And that's where I don't knock. I know a lot of people knock people who do their own procedures. This is my only thing. If you know what you're doing and that animal is going to survive what you're doing, by all means do it. An example is I will never take my reticulated python right in for abscess because I know how to treat an abscess on a reticulated python. Now, I know that if it did not dissolve or resolve itself in a week, then I need to go get antibiotics. I know that. But also my vet will say that, he'll, let me see it, we'll FaceTime and everything like that. He's familiar with, I'll say at least half of my retics, very, very familiar. The first few that we got, they were new to me too. So we treated them differently. So we got them, we took them to the vet, we got blood work on them and things like that to better understand their health and conditions. But you got people who can do extenuating treatment of things just by their experience. I personally don't have a problem with that. The only difference between a person with a degree and a person without a degree is the person got a degree. That doesn't mean that person was more experienced than the person without the degree to me, because experience is the best teacher. So that's another clue to pay attention to when you have a variety of animals and your vet that you're even used to. Like now I'm thinking, Dre, because we never had to take Larry as an adult to the vet. So and as y'all can recall, I saved his life. So we've never had taken him to a vet. And so if he was going to the actual, the exotic veterinarian, right? The exotic veterinarian would probably treat him, right? I would say he probably would, because he treated him before as a baby, or he's seen him before as a baby. But I don't know if I just took him in and say, hey, I have this water monitor, and he never saw a water monitor before. That size, Larry at this size. If he could treat him, we know he could treat this. And even then it wasn't treating. It was just testing them for worms. That's different. You know what I'm saying? Like taking cultures and stuff.
Basic stuff.
Yeah, that's different than having to go inside an animal and do something. So, but if that vet said to me, Nicole, I can't do this, I think I recommend this. That's a good sign of a good exotic veterinarian too, because I go back to what Dre said. Just because it says exotic, it doesn't mean it covers your particular exotic animal.
That's the one thing I do like about the vet here. They don't force me into making any decisions. It's always, we have these options based on what we found, and these are what you can do. So I do like that, because there are some vets that'll, they need this or they need that because they're trying to upsell you. And my vet is they're very straight to the point. Like, okay, we found this. I'm not 100% sure that that's what it is. However, these are the options, so I do like that. Um, and not to mention, when trying to look for a vet, I think one thing people need to make sure that they consider is a lot of these inexperienced vets. I've seen this happen to people where they'll take their reptile to a vet that does not typically do reptiles, but this particular vet wants to try their hand. They want to help, which is fine. They mean well. However, you got to keep in mind that the physical makeup and the way that reptiles are structured internally is completely different than other animals. So it's not a game of operation. You can't just take your reptiles any and everywhere and let them poke around and figure out what's going on, because at the end of the day, your animal is the one at risk. So I've literally seen people, take an animal in to someone that wasn't an experience for something small, and the animal ended up dying. So just like we'd say, before you get an animal, do your research on what vet you're taking them to. Ask questions. And if
Right.
they can't answer certain questions, then personally don't take them. It's scary, but
And I think COVID taught a lot, and it's another like this comment Elias have. COVID taught you that at that particular time, the vets did not let you just bring your animals in. They really did want to like FaceTime you and see what was going on and let you, see what you could do at your disposal.
mhm.
But it's also good to have like some know-how to apply like small creams and stuff like that on wounds. Like, what can I put on this animal? Because especially with snakes, they are very hardy. Most of the time, they don't need a lot of anything to heal. They just need a helping agent or something like that. Because yeah, and then that was COVID. I remember. So that's how you remember. I told this story before with the cow when the cow had gotten an abscess, and it was a situation where the vet was like, well, we can't get you in it for 2 weeks. It's an abscess. I'm not letting my cow wait that long. So the vet told me what to get, and that's how I knew to get that the peroxide with the red cap, the blue bottle and the red cap, and to use that diluted with 3 drops of water and take a Q-tip and get up into that abscess. And well, the cow lets you do it. So I think it's a video on YouTube of us doing that. That's another reason why you should always touch your animal's mouths to me. You never know when you're the one who have to go in it. And you want them to be comfortable. So that's another reason why I'm always touching their mouths, because it made it so much easier for the fact that she was comfortable enough when we going in her mouth to do something. I'm sure it was painful to her, but she knew that it was helping her as well. So in a situation where we might be locked down again, there are some things that you're going to need to know how to do for yourself, because it would have been nothing that you can do if the vet say you can't bring them, which was crazy, right? Like, we had to wait 2 weeks, right? But thankfully, I've watched enough videos and enough of nerd, and actually it was I think it was Weston Winter who actually had a video where he actually had to pull the tooth of one of his reticulated pythons, and I think I watched that. I didn't have to, fortunately, do it. Her tooth came out on her own, but to be able to know how to get in there without incident was pretty cool. And I felt it was rewarding. Like, I felt good about doing it. I felt good about helping her in that way.
Definitely. It's very important, because in some situations we have to play vet. I mean, the amount of snakes that you and I both have, there's going to be some issues where we have to play veterinarian. So I remember there was a time when Luther, I go to feed him and he bit my tongs, and he had a scratch in his mouth, and I had to basically at home heal it. And Luther's not huge, but he's a big snake, and he can do some. He's a 6-foot boa, and they're strong. So and I did it by myself. I had to hold him down, take a popsicle stick, open his mouth, because it was right behind some of his teeth. Get a Q-tip and rub the solution in there. And of course, I had to do everything like non-toxic, chemical free. Like, it's scary, but it was like, within like a week and a half, 2 weeks, I started seeing some difference. But it's you definitely got to be confident when you do it, and you definitely got to be prepared to deal with an angry animal, especially when it comes to dealing with wounds in their mouth. So
I ain't paying KT no mind. Come on with this COVID. Hey, Jordan.
I mean, any large snake, really.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, actually, more than the retics, I think the boas too, because the boas a lot of time can injure themselves on the impact of eating. Like they, y'all know, they just everything go hard with them. Everything just go hard. And so sometimes, like, and that's the importance of with boas. Like, people don't think they need as much space as other bigger snakes. They do, for that reason. They need that 2 feet this way, because the way that they lunge, they can easily hit that glass and smash their face. I mean, they can reset their jaws most of the time, but sometimes it's really bad. And you want to make sure that they have that space to hit their food the way that they want to hit it, which is insane that they do. But yeah. But all in all, y'all, that's like some of the most important things to do, other than having a rapport and a relationship with your veterinarian that makes them also love your animals, right? So they want the best for your animals. It's not just that you're going from vet to vet to vet to vet, and they don't know you personally, and they don't know your animal personally. Because if they don't know you or your animal personally, trust me, y'all know how that goes. Anything happens. That happens with humans. If your doctor doesn't know you intimately, they can make so many poor decisions for your care, and that falls the same very much for your animals.
But to add to that, it's also important to pay attention to your animal's every move. That way, you can give as much information to this veterinarian to help them make the best decision possible. So it definitely pays to be educated, not just in the species, but in your particular animal, because every animal's habits may be different. So
Right.
I try to make it a point to look at my animals. That way you can pinpoint what behavior is odd and what behavior is normal. So it definitely makes sense.
Yeah. And then too, keeping in mind that sometimes your animals may be suffering, but they act normal because it's just the nature of the animal. So you have to physically inspect your animals constantly just to see, to make sure nothing is going on with them. But to Dre's point, most animals, you're going to see something that's not normal. Like they stop drinking, they stop eating, or if they normally move a certain way when you come in the room and they don't, like those things like that should prompt you to just make sure that the animal is okay. Pretty much for me, I know that with most of my animals, they are active animals, unless they just ate or something like that. And so if they're not active a whole day, then something is definitely not right. It could be something minor, it could be something major, but something is definitely not right.
Yep.
And that's all I have today. When Coyles got respiratory in 2020, my vet called for 2 weeks checking on her and had a follow-up for free after treatment. That's when I knew was good. So what's this weird? I wonder if, and it's something I always wonder, all the years I've kept reptiles, I've never had a reptile with respiratory infection. Never. And I think that it has something to do with geographic, like where you are in the country, how your airflow in your house is set up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's weird. And I know it's like, who was it? What you come say he's never had in all the years he's been keeping either. Randy. So I asked Randy the same thing, because we have a lot of the same type, and he's never experienced a respiratory infection. So even when I hear people talk about it, it's normally people who are like out in the Midwest or the Western states that's experiencing respiratory infections. I think a lot of people who keep their animals on ambient seem to experience respiratory infections. I don't know why. I think Maryland must just be one of those states where because the air is really dry or really cold when it's, when it's cold, or it's really humid when it's hot because of all the water, that the airflow for the animals is always what they need. I don't put my animals in cars and let them drive with air flowing through the cars or anything like that. I don't let people smoke around them. Like all that kind of stuff like that plays into part, I believe. But the biggest thing I think, when I talk to a lot of people in Maryland, they never experienced, and I think it has something to do with air quality. I have no scientific proof behind that. I just find it weird that I didn't even start to hear about respiratory infections that much until like the last 5 years. It was not something that I heard about a lot or ever had to experience. So I would love for them to do more more scientific research on what causes that with our animals. She only got it because I moved her cage right under the air vent. Yep, I've never dealt with it since I made sure to never have the enclosures near. And I do believe that, Elias. I believe it's something kind of like with us. We sleep right under the air. The difference is that our snakes can't cough. I keep saying that. Like they can't, well, they can in a way, but not cough to remove phlegm. Put it that way. You can hear stuff that sounds like a cough, but it's not technically a cough. So I always wonder that, and it's so much more research, and I think that's another good part about what Dre was talking about, giving your vets all of the information you possibly can, because that definitely helps them to do better research and better find better ways and practices to take care of your animals as well. For facts. All right, Dre, that's all I have today. We appreciate everybody tapping in this morning. Stay tuned for some of the announcements for the upcoming Reptiles and Cocktail guest. I love the pre-recordings. I love being able to be in the chat or even though I was doing a show Saturday, to actually be able to, be there, so that was pretty cool as well. Shout out to GP who always gave us that tip to pre-record if we have to. So I definitely enjoyed that. I will keep Tim and Dre, I'll let you know about Retic Fest. Hopefully I can make it, but you said you ain't going anyway, so it don't matter. You the one who said.
I got daddy duties this weekend.
So, I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see. Thank you, Phil. We're going to see. I definitely, because I told Garrett last time we were in Tinley that I was definitely going to try to make the one, and that was the one last summer. And I don't know why me and you didn't make it, but then,
because
it would be a nice
I didn't know about it last year. Like I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. So that's why I didn't make it.
Okay.
So by the time I found out about it, people was posting pictures. I was like, oh, well, damn, when did this happen? So I know one of my friends, Mosh Balls, I know she went. And she said she enjoyed it. It looked like a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, they say it's always nice. But I just never been to one. So definitely would try to check that out. Can't believe we got a show without y'all cussing each other out. Dre looks tired today. I'm not going to abuse him. He looks like somebody already been cussing him out, Elias.
I'm always tired.
I ain't even gonna mess with him today.
Yeah,
He's been good this week.
She gonna message me somehow this week. I'm like, you know what?
Right. Can't promise you the same for next week, but yeah. Let's see what you got planned for today other than work.
That's pretty much it. I'm supposed to go live on TikTok, but I don't know. The last TikTok I did was wild. I had up to like almost 2K viewers.
When did you do it?
It was Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
I was on to like 1 a.m. I got on at like 9.
I was so tired. I think I was asleep.
Man, it was fun. It was cool. But it was a good one. So I'm gonna try to get back. I think I'm supposed to go live with CJ from 310 Exotic Reptiles today. So
okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, maybe I'll catch it. I don't know.
You probably still be asleep.
I don't know. What time is it gonna be? Yeah, because it's California time, right?
Yeah, so it'd be 1:30 our time, 10:30 his time.
Good morning. Awesome. All right, so that's it for today. We're gonna go ahead and get your morning started. Have an amazing week, guys. Stay positive, stay focused, push towards your goals. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, if you can reach out to Jeremy from World of Wilcox. Like I said, they had a fire, as you know, a few months ago. We talked about it here. Really hasn't solicited any support or help, but if anybody can reach out and just, you know, stay in tune to whatever support or help they may need. It's nothing major, like when they bringing in new animals, it might be something as simple as, some item that needed for the enclosure or something like that, some husbandry needs, or whatever needs they have. Just reach directly out to them and give them support the best that you can. If you are in the Indiana area, that would be great if you do have like an abundance of supplies or something like that you definitely can support as well. Promoted IG if you do, Dre. Oh, she's Dre, the live. I think that's what we're talking about, the live, right? Right, Elias?
Yeah, I just responded.
Okay. All right, y'all. So everybody have an amazing day. It's 96 degrees. I kind of want to go to the water, but I don't know. I might melt. I might have to actually go and get in the pool, right? It's hot. It's been hot here for days. It's so hot. I think the lizards are hot. So we open up their enclosures so they can kind of just, move around freely in the garage. Of course, not Larry, because Larry probably would be, eat them. But the tegus are just out roaming right now. They can go bask when they want to and get some cool air when they want to. So pretty cool. But everybody, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get to the post office and get the channel member shirts off today. And that's all we have. Peace.